Hello, everyone. Welcome to this full moon to new moon reading for the magical weather, as I like to call it. I'm using the Druidcraft Tarot today, and welcome everybody to one heck of a full moon. I'm doing this about an hour before the full moon on October 17th. That's going to be a full moon in Aries. It's a super moon. It has been pretty high energy. I'm not sure. Hopefully you're feeling it as well. Yeah. So this is going to be a reading for the full moon to the new moon on November 1st. How fortuitous that there is a new moon on the 1st of the month of November, kind of getting us ready to really decide what we want to build in November. But for this is a reading leading up to that new moon. So this reading is actually for a little bit after the full moon and that period of time between the full moon that we're going through now and the new moon to come. The previous reading, just a quick review, I believe it's important to string these together. Our last reading that got us from the new moon to the full moon, it was very big on one thing. What was the one thing you wanted to focus on and manifest? And to be very careful about all the things you were carrying, because you could be exhausted by the time you got to the full moon today if you weren't careful. And how would that play into any magical work you want to do, any manifestation, meditation, prayers, anything like that? So what we're going to look at today is how to take this energy, how we took that one thing, and now what do we do between the full moon as it begins to wane, and it does wane and turns into the new moon? What do we need to be looking at? What do we need to be thinking about in regards to our magical work, our spiritual life, our spiritual connection? That's what these readings are all about. Like I said, the magical weather forecast. So I'll pull 3 cards, and then I'll pull a final card at the end that I like to call the little spice at the end, the punctuation, if you will. Okay, those are feeling about right. I'm going to pull cards with the pendulum, as I usually do. I hope everyone... Oh, one more cut. There we go. Hope everyone is having a good full moon right now. And let's get started. For what we need to know as we move through from this full moon to the new moon. Interesting. Let's see. That's what I thought. It felt kind of weird. It's hard to describe. There's 2 cards underneath there, and we're going to pick one of them. So it's this one. All right. There's the first one, and I will put that right there on those acorns. Card number 2. Spread these out a little bit. I also had 3 cards underneath it. There's number 2. That's what I thought. I could kind of feel it. You get used to it over time. I'm going to take these, put those over here. I'm going to spread these out. Give us a little bit more room. And there's number 3. Okay. Let's see what the cards have to say. All right. Over there. Card number 1. 2 of Wands. decisions about your passions, decisions about how you want to spend your creativity and your energy of who you are. Princess of Pentacles. Functional news, earthly news, beginning of something on the physical. And Carnunos, which in traditional tarot would be called the Devil card. In this deck, it is very different. It is about a connection. It's about connecting to nature. It's about connecting to a primal energy and not being or allowing yourself to be bound. All right. So as we move from this new moon in Scorpio and all of this intense energy, I'm sorry, full moon in Aries, and this intense energy that's happening with Pluto and with the full moon and the supermoon that it is, and we move into this new moon in Scorpio on November 1st, it's, and we're going to tie in the previous reading as well. It's about taking that one thing you found and really, how do you want to apply this? How do you want to apply it in the physical? How do you want to put it forward? I get a quieter vibe. This is a more, it feels like this next 2-week period is going to be a little bit more gentle in a way, just because the past has been so intense. So you can get off a crazy roller coaster and go ride another roller coaster. And if the second roller coaster is not as intense as the first one, it's going to feel gentler, more gentle. It's still a roller coaster. But I'm getting a more grounded vibe, and that it's going to be very, very important to touch into. It's going to be really easy, kind of like the Ten of Wands in the previous reading. It's going to be very easy to get carried away and to let yourself get hung up in the bounds of the physical and not get that connection to nature. And also we have Samhain. November 1st is always a powerful day for me because it's the day after Samhain, and I've always found November 1st to be incredibly spiritual. And it's almost a feeling I'm getting from the cards. It may not be the explicit way the cards are coming out right now, like the traditional meanings of the cards. I'm definitely getting a sense of being in nature, of connecting to that primal natural power, that energy, your allies in nature, your spiritual allies in nature. And how do you want to plan to connect to them and to get grounded and work with this more earthy energy that comes up? Because really, it's going to be a new moon right after Samhain. And the potential here is very high as long as you stick to that primal natural energy, that magic, that primal magic that happens around that end of October, early November anyway. But you need to focus. It's almost like there are, in a way, this is almost like making a gate and making a gateway for yourself to use that energy at the end of the month to get ready for that new moon, that new beginning, that as we get through that final harvest of Samhain and the connection with our ancestors and the connection with the spirit that always is so intense, but it doesn't feel as erratic, mainly due to this. And to not let yourself get too focused on emotions and things that maybe like not get hung up on loss, not get hung up on the emotions of loss or of losing something, but it's that passage into, that always happens around Samhain in November, that passage into letting the old go, because you can, it's part of the natural flow to let go during that time period. And this card, Carnunos, is definitely taking center stage here. I mean, it almost feels like I want to do this now that I've seen the cards and I'm kind of getting the vibe. So let's do that. And it's about deciding the gateway that you want to move through after this intensity of the full moon, right? After picking that one thing, go back to that other reading if you need to. It'll be linked at the end of this video. And finding that one thing and not getting overburdened, so you can continue to connect to this primal magical source. And this feels like this is news of things kind of, if you do that, you'll find that you are more grounded during that time period. There's a lot going on. There's going to be a lot going on externally in the physical world, but that's not what this reading is about. This reading is about how we navigate the spiritual weather, and the spiritual magical weather is very different. It feels very different from what's going to be on the exterior. And so as we move towards that new moon, and that's what that new moon is going to be about, right? That's probably going to be a lot of what the Samhain energy is going to be like. It's almost like that every year. But this energy of connecting to that primal part of ourselves, that connect to the primal part of nature, and creating a gateway for us to walk through into something more grounded, something more us, more yourself. Yeah. Let me see if there's anything else. I'm just pulling a card at random here. It's because I want to. Okay, the wheel. All right. And that goes right in here. There's our cards for this time period. The Wheel of Fortune. Things are going to be moving. Things are going to be moving in a positive way. There is a gateway. There is an opening that is coming for November 1st with this new moon, with Samhain, with this change in the season, with that wheel of the year that is a very important part of the year. It's like to the Celts, if you're Celtic origin, Wiccan, I mean, that's the new year, right? That's the beginning of the new year. And I don't know, I get this look too of like, think about how you want the spiritual and the magical to play out in the physical. How do you want this to play out? How do you stay connected to that natural groundedness and that primal energy and that push and that wellspring of things? But how do you want it to play out? There's going to be information there, and you're going to be able to take. You're definitely going to be able to take what you've learned from the past 2 weeks with this full moon and move it into how you want to move forward with the wheel, and this moving forward, this push forward into November 1st and the new moon. Okay. Okay, so I'll use the Angels and Ancestors cards real quick here. And I'm going to pull a card, and it's a little bit of punctuation to the reading. It's a little bit of an additive, an extra bit, a final pop at the end. And I'm going to do it with the pendulum. I was going to just pull it, but I am going with my gut. And my heart is saying use the pendulum. Let something else pick that card. So I'm going to do that. Okay. All right. Earth Guardian, stay rooted and grounded. Right? Stay rooted and grounded. How does the physical, how do you want to integrate this push of energy, this gateway? How do you want to integrate it into the physical? How do you want to do that dance of without being enchained in the physical? Because the devil card can be about being enslaved and being too focused on the physical, getting wrapped up too much in the job, in the 9 to 5. This is reminding us to stick to the primal energy of what is all around us, below us, and above us that isn't the physical. And it's going to be an interesting combination of how you want that to play out into the physical and to prepare for that as we move into November. Okay, I think that's it. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Any comments at all, just go ahead and write them out. Give me a thumbs up and a like. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. I hope to have a pendulum video out around Samhain as a special treat. I'm also thinking about doing an update like midway through the moon phase as we get towards that new moon, a little bit of an update as we move through that into that energy. I think it might be good, especially with Samhain coming up. So yeah, stay tuned for more. I will be reading this Saturday at Crystal Moon Body Arts. Feel free to come check me out there. And there's more information on that on my Instagram. And you can also find it on my Facebook. All that's linked down below. I hope this has helped. I hope this has given you a little bit of guidance, a little bit of a forecast of what is coming up after we get through this intense full moon. Again, a little bit more. I think it's going to be more chill in that same regard as getting off a really intense roller coaster and going to a medium level roller coaster is more chill. It's still going to be a lot going on. So stay rooted and grounded. Stay rooted and grounded through this process. Okay. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful time until we meet again. And take care of yourself. Bright blessings. Bye-bye.